Hi, thank you for joining me for this training. Today what we'll be discussing is fall protection, specifically personal fall arrest systems. Now OSHA has several requirements for fall protection and they do not dictate which one you have to use. You actually have to do your own job hazard analysis or JHA to see which one works the best for you and your company. Today we're just going to be focusing on the personal fall arrest systems or PFAS. Now quickly, some of the reasons why we have the fall protection systems in place. Well, 2018 we saw that OSHA actually conducted 377 accident investigations in the US alone. 96 of those resulted as a fatality for an employee due to falls. In Region 6, we saw 31 accident investigations and 13 fatalities. That's here locally, and that's way too many to have. Even one is too many to have for something that is as preventable as fall protection. Another reason we're looking at this is the National Safety Council for 2019 showed that OSHA conducted, out of the top 10 citations for all of 2019, 4 were all directly related to fall protection. Number 8 was actual fall training, and there was over 1,700 citations issued to companies specifically for fall protection training. Number 6 was with ladders, and there was 2,300 citations in 2019 directly related to ladders and fall protection. Number 3 was scaffolding. Scaffolding has its own requirements right there, and there's a host of them, so definitely take a look at that. There was 2,800 citations for scaffolding, and the number one issued citation by OSHA in 2019 was fall protection, the general requirements. And there was over 6,000 citations issued from OSHA to employers because of general requirements having to do with fall protection. So we want to make sure we keep our employees safe. We want to make sure we keep our company safe as well. Okay? When do you need fall protection? That's a great question. So there are 2 different requirements. One is general industry, and the other is for construction. 1910 for general industry and 1926 standard for construction. We're going to deal specifically with just construction right now. So looking at the 1926 standard, when you are working at a height of over 6 feet and you're exposed to that height, then you are required to have some type of fall protection. Okay? Those areas could be leading edge work, for working in holes where we can fall through, and then floors or working surfaces. If we're near unprotected sides, if we haven't finished out a window or anything like that on second floor and up, that could be an issue. Hoisting areas, ramps, runways, all could host a multitude of fall hazards for us to do right there. Again, that's why that job hazard analysis is so important to do on your job site, to make sure you're going to mitigate whatever hazard the employee is exposed to right there. Some that may have a little bit different standards are going to obviously be our metalworking, our iron workers if we're doing metal connections or anything like that, and then excavations. Excavations, interestingly enough, have some different fall protection requirements if you're working in those areas. So just because you're digging into the ground doesn't mean you're necessarily exempt from working or having fall protection if you're exposing employees to those areas. But that's going to be for a different training topic as well. So before you wear your fall arrest system, what you need to do is you actually have to inspect the unit itself. So we've got 2 right here. This is my personal one, and this is going to be a training one that we've taken out of service. Okay. Both generally look okay. However, there's some little differences in each of these. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to go, whichever unit you're going to use, you're going to meticulously check all of the webbing and all of the straps. Make sure all the buckles not only buckle or attach, but they're going to lock into place as well. You don't want any of these actually coming open on you after you've locked them into place. Okay? Ensure that that gets in there, that locks in, and it's not going to move anywhere on me until I actually unlock that unit. Okay? You're going to check to make sure everything is freely moving. The grommets, that we have no damage in the grommets itself. There's no rust or anything like that. We're checking for abrasions, lacerations, cuts on the webbing. We're looking for burn holes, especially for the iron workers if we're doing any kind of welding or anything like that. If we use any kind of chemicals, we're looking for any type of chemical, either caustic or corrosive damage. And then, of course, the big thing too, because these things don't get stored correctly a lot of times, we're looking for UV damage. If they just get thrown in the back of your pickup or thrown in a car window or something like that, you can actually have a lot of UV damage just from being stored improperly, and that's a lot of times you can't see. So to check for that, it's actually pretty easy. What you want to do is you want to turn it over and just roll it back and forth and see if there's any fibers that are going to come up or if there's any kind of dust or anything like that coming out of it. All right, so just being dirty or dusty from a construction site is a different thing than actually being, having those little plastic fibers detaching and coming up. All right, so this one looks pretty good. This one over here, a little bit different story. Again, this one we removed from service. We're only using for training. We've red tagged it out so to make sure it's not used at all. But here you can kind of see a little bit of the damage right there. We've got some abrasions. Looks like it was rubbed up against something. All right, and it's actually gone all the way through. That's bad. We have some burns, some welding damage from where some hot slag hit that. Okay. The D-ring itself is looking pretty damaged, either just from a salty environment and corrosion, or maybe it was exposed to some type of corrosive material all the way down, okay? And then also too, looking down, it doesn't look like it's the most comfortable piece of unit to wear because we've got some extra tape on here, all the padding is shot. Now, padding damage won't necessarily remove it from service, okay? As long as all the other integrated systems, the important systems like the webbings, the harness, the attachments, the D-rings, all of those are all in good working order, then this unit would have passed. However, it's a really big comfort thing as well to make sure that everybody is comfortable and they will use it correctly in the space they're supposed to. So you want to make sure the padding is in good order. But again, padding damage in itself, by itself, necessarily would not fail a PFAS system right off the bat. Okay. Looking at everything else here, this one is definitely cause for concern. Looking at that, folding it back up, you can see some flakes coming up on that. Yeah, this one is definitely one that was a good choice to retire right there, because we're going to ensure that nobody is going to use this piece of equipment, and then subsequently have the false sense of security and thinking they're going to be protected. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at actually how to put on your personal fall arrest system, or PFAS. What you want to do first is get your unit, make sure, give it a nice shake, get all the strappings and leggings out. We're going to start from the bottom and going up to the top. Okay, so for this one, I'll put these straps on right here on my chest, and then I'm going to go underneath here and attach the little cam buckles right in that area. And same thing on this side right here. Okay. And I'm going to put my belt on. Make sure that's in. Now take a look at my straps. The chest strap, and I'm going to tighten these down. So this unit itself actually uses ratchets to help tighten or loosen, however you want to go. So we're going to make sure those are tightened down to where they're comfortable. And same thing too with our thigh straps. Now when tightening these down, you want to make sure you can still get 2 fingers in, just like you were if you were checking your car seat for your child or anything like that. But you don't want to be able to get your entire hand into this unit. Okay, that makes it to where it's actually too loose. So over here, it's done a pretty good job. On this side, it's a little too loose though. So I want to make sure to tighten that one down. Tighten that down right there. The other thing is, you want to make sure you don't have any of these straps flopping around. That's why they actually have these extra clips on these things so you can ensure that you clip these into place. That way you don't have a caught-in hazard if you're working next to a piece of machinery or anything else. You don't want to accidentally pulled into to any hazard situation while you're working and wearing this piece of equipment. So these straps will actually just slide right in here. We can also slide them more kind of out of the way as well. Okay? So ensure that that's nice and snug. And we have those straps nice and hidden. All right. And now, gentlemen, you want to ensure that you wear this correctly, because there has been some accidents before where somebody has actually had a fall and the system has caught them. It's worked how it's supposed to, and it will do that. It'll actually stop you. Where this unit stops you completely depends on you. So if you have these thigh straps that are loose and they shift, that's going to put a lot of pressure in a place that you probably don't want that pressure to be. Okay. And looking at the back here, you're going to make sure the dorsal ring is nice and secured and right center between my shoulder blades. So that's exactly where it should be. It's not too low, it's not too high, up, hit me in the back of the head or anything like that. Okay. And make sure all this is nice and snug and fits perfectly. Now, with this one, it actually has straps that you can deploy if you do have a fall on the side right here. And what these will do is you'll take these straps out, and depending on your height, you will actually secure them into place here on each other, and you would step in to these to release all that pressure that is building up in your legs right here, so you don't have any kind of clots or embolisms or any bruising or any circulation issues going on in your legs. So you would get these to where you can actually step up in them, and they use them just kind of like stirrups on a saddle, and just lift your butt up and actually have that pressure released in this unit. Okay. Looking more at it, you want to make sure that you also don't have anything in your pocket, any kind of sharp materials, any tools, anything. For me, phone, you don't want that because that's going to put a lot of pressure on things. Same thing with, we have a pocket knife. You want to make sure you just don't have anything like that where it could hurt. Keys, other phones, wallet, just keep all that stuff in your vehicle or somewhere else if you can, or on a tool bag that's on the outside of this unit itself. Okay? Okay, we went over the reasons why we have to use fall protection. Okay? Talked about the accidents and OSHA citations. We talked about when we potentially need to have fall protection. Again, for construction, you definitely want to take a look at that 1926 501, 502 requirements in there. And there's a lot of other standards, though, scaffolding, excavation, that would require different types of requirements. So take a look at those. Basically, it just depends on what you and your company are doing, and then what type of system you want to use. Again, OSHA doesn't dictate which one you have to use. They just say, if you're going to use this one, here are the requirements for it. So for us, we talked about PFAS. If you're using guardrails, if you're using safety nets, if you're using warning systems with a safety monitor, those are all going to be different requirements as well. So just take a look at what works best for you. Okay. Talked also about, real quick, difference between fall arrest and fall restraint, and then we showed you how to inspect your PFAS and actually properly don it or put it on. Okay. Final thing I want to do is just talk about how we should store this. Okay. You want to make sure it's stored out of direct UV sunlight and UV radiation. You want to make sure it's not in an overly hot environment, so leaving it in your car is not a good idea, or a Connex box or anything like that. You want to keep it away from chemicals. You want to keep it away from vibration as well. So inside a toolbox where it's going to be running around a lot of sharp tools and things like that, that wouldn't be a good type of system to have too. Finally, on wearing it. If you're going to wear this system, what you need to do is you have to wear it correctly. So just because you are not exposed at that moment in time to a fall doesn't mean you need to unbuckle your chest strap or loosen the leg straps or remove those or anything like that. Because when you get used to walking around not wearing this correctly, then that becomes the new normal for you. And then when you get up to the heights, you're going to forget to put the straps on or do anything else like that. And if something happens, you're going to be a lot worse than if you would if you wore this correctly. So when you're on a job site, make sure you wear this correctly. If you're gonna loosen or take something off, take it completely off and store it correctly. If you're going to lunch, if you're gonna take a break, or anything else like that. You either 100% wear it right, or you don't wear it at all. If you have any questions or any concerns, please feel free to reach out to me or AGC, the Safety Committee. There's a lot of great people at our local safety committee that can help you through any kind of either OSHA or workers' comp or any problems you may be having on your job site or with your company. Thanks for listening, appreciate it, and thank you from Easy Belt Construction.